Hi, welcome to the questions of the week. I have two questions for you today. The first one is, how are you? How are you doing? And the second one is, how are you coping with the current changes that are taking place in your life, in society, or in the world as a whole? How are you doing? You know, life is made up of changes. From childhood on, we have gone through so many changes in our life, and we have mastered them. You know, as a teenager, it could have been the first true love that ended, and you thought, I'll never find another person. And you did. Maybe you applied for a job and were turned down. Maybe your company was suddenly reorganized and you were suddenly without a job or in a totally new job that had new demands and new skills which you certainly had to learn. And now we have Corona, a massive change, a massive challenge that's turning everybody's world kind of upside down. And where are you right now in this change curve? Yes, change is a curve. We go through 7 different phases and we go through changes. And I'm talking about changes that we didn't ask for. Changes that came out of the blue. Changes that were not part of our master plan in our life. So what do these 7 phases look like? And where are they? Over here on the graph you see here time, and of course this axis can be really long, it can be a little bit shorter, and everybody's a little bit different in life, how they deal and cope with change and get through it. Over here on this axis you have your subjective perception, how you're feeling, how you're coping with things, here or here. And let's just start kind of in the middle. We kind of have a so-la-la kind of day. And we have our life, things are moving along. Okay. This is what the curve looks like. Let's look where the phases are. So there are 7 different phases, and I'll tell you what they are in just a second. This one, and this one. We have one more here, down here, here, and up at the top. So these 7 phases, where do they start? Well, the very first phase is the phase of satisfaction. Satisfaction is the phase that we're in before the change is announced, before we even find out something's going to change our life and turn our world upside down. And we're living our life, we have our routines, things are running. It doesn't mean that life is without stress, but life is without this change at that moment. And suddenly, ba-dam, there's an announcement. Maybe the company announces a reorganization, or I hear about it in a team meeting. Corona, media, everywhere. You can't escape it. You know, you're living your life and suddenly this kind of change is announced. The next phase that we go through is the phase of shock, where we can't believe it. And this phase, it could be longer for some people, it could be shorter, but it's for an instance where you think, what? No, really? Because after that, what happens is the phase of denial. And yes, it's a little bit higher than we currently started, because this is the phase where we truly believe they've made a mistake. They've got it all wrong. It's not going to happen to us. It's going to happen maybe at best, maybe to somebody else. And here you have phrases like, that Corona thing is going to stay in China. No, we would never be impacted like that. And we tell our friends and we post it that nothing's going to happen. Everything's going to be okay. But suddenly then reality begins to set in and we realize this thing is happening. And our brain begins to read the facts and see the numbers and statistics and listen, in this case, to doctors, scientists and reports and other media channels. And slowly the brain begins to realize, you know, this was not correct. This is going to happen. And our brain analyzes and rationalizes the situation, and then at some point after that our heart kind of kicks in. This emotional acceptance, and this whole phase here, this whole phase is called the Valley of Tears. And it's often filled with negative emotions like frustration, anger, demotivation, fear, sadness, mourning. They're all there. And it's all kind of jumbled up into this confused, kind of nebulous state. This state's very important. And if you're in it right now, then think about it. Because this state can also be positive. Because it's right here that we reach a turning point. Where when we can learn to let go of the things we cannot control, the things we cannot influence, we can use all the other power and energy we have to control and influence the things that we can change. And that one thing is our behavior. The words that come out of our mouth, things we say, what we post, what we think, and our actions. When we learn to let go of all the other things we cannot control and take responsibility for ourselves, we can move on. Because at that point, the brain begins to look forward and look towards new solutions. Figure out new strategies. Try things out. And see if maybe this new thing of home office, or living the way we're going to be living now for the next months, perhaps, is going to work. Does it mean this line is straight? No, unfortunately not. Because it can be that when trying things out, they don't work out the first time. We have to get back up, pull ourselves together, and try it again. This is called the learning curve. And the more we get back up and build our resiliency and stand back up and try different strategies, the stronger we become. Because at some point in the future, this is going to be over. And we're going to have more stability in our life, and processes and things are beginning to run again. There may be a vaccination, a cure for this. But guaranteed, in our lives, we're going to have many, many more changes down the road. Changes which we didn't ask for. And the idea of resiliency, personal resiliency, is not just getting back up. That's good. But getting back up and learning. Learning from these things and taking these newfound insights with us into the future. Because when you can do that, you can become stronger. And you can become better prepared for the next challenge, the next change that comes in your life. Because believe me, they'll be there. Maybe not as massive as the corona change and the corona challenge that's happening to everyone. But guaranteed, we're going to have challenges and changes in our life. Where are you right now on this change curve? You know, some people go much lower. Some people perhaps here. The more resilient you are, the faster and the healthier you can get through this curve. Do resilient people not get sad? No. Studies show they have just as many bad experiences as less resilient people. But what do they do differently? They get to this point much faster. Because they more readily let go of the things they can't control anyway. They do not waste their time and energy carping and bitching and complaining about things they can't change. They let go of that. Do they feel sad and scared sometimes? Of course. They do not let that rule their life. Where are you now in the change curve? And what can you do if you're stuck here to let go and move forward? What have you already learned? What have you integrated into your life? And what are you looking forward to? And are you able to now see this change as chance? Have a great week. Have a healthy week. Stay healthy and stay tuned. I'm looking forward to next week's question of the week. Have a good one.